So today we have Lukasz talking about our journey towards Vue 3 and our migration towards Vue 3. So all yours, Lukasz.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Lukasz. I'm a front-end engineer. For those who might don't know me, I'm a front-end engineer at organic content team in Grove cluster. And yeah, let me share my screen. I will share you the presentation. And yes, so today I'm acting as a member of a Vue 3 migration work group, and I would like to tell you something about our journey towards Vue 3. So let's get started. Before we jump to the next slide, I would like to tell you a small disclaimer that this presentation is mostly based on admin repository. This is because admin repository is our, let's say, playground for identifying blockers and identifying deprecated features. So we are basically trying to identify what we need to do in order to migrate. We're gathering those information and we're building a playbook to apply to the other repositories. So yeah, you might wonder what's the problem here with the migration. Well, first of all, because if there were no problem, I wouldn't be giving this talk, right? So there are some problems, and the main problem are the dependencies. So we are in our repository, we are using many Vue-related dependencies, like Element UI library, and some other UI-related libraries that are compatible with Vue 2 only. Well, there are some Vue-free versions of those libraries like Element Plus, but they won't work in Vue 2. So yeah, this is the main problem. We need to create a migration strategy for those libraries as well, together with Vue. Is there anything else? Well, yes, there is. There are some removed APIs that will no longer be that were in Vue 2 but won't be available in Vue 3. So we need to take care of those before we migrate, because our app otherwise will crash when we try to run it. So yeah. So let's talk at first a bit about the dependency issues. So the major problem, the major blocker is the Element UI library. This is the UI library that we're using in admin panel quite extensively. So yeah, the problem with this is that, yeah, as I mentioned before, this is the Vue 2 compatible version only. And there is Element Plus, which is compatible with Vue 3. But unfortunately, it's not compatible with Vue 2. So we are not able to upgrade it first, then upgrade the Vue. We are considering many options. Currently, we are in progress of trying to use the Vue migration build. This is the basically Vue 3 version with the deprecated features from Vue 2. Most deprecated features, but yeah, we are not sure if this will work, but we're trying, to figure out if there is an option to do it that way. Yeah, some time ago there was also this initiative with replacing the direct usages of Element UI components with the Glovo components. This was to take advantage of Glovo UI. So the Glovo UI could replace the Element UI, but since the Glovo UI is no longer an admin dependency, that's no longer an option. But yeah, there is a new initiative called Admin UI, and it might help us in the future. We're not sure, but yeah, we're looking forward to see if this will help us in any way or not. But yeah, this is the current status when it comes to the Element UI. So by far, this is the biggest blocker for us. But we are trying to find solutions to this. So yeah. But on the brighter side, we also had this initiative to upgrade the Vue test utils. And actually, this library, this library was upgraded to version 1.3. That has pretty close API to version 2. That will be supported by Vue 3. So the point here is that the upgrade will be kind of, well, should be smoother than it used to be, because we removed already some, well, we started cleaning up the deprecated features from unit tests. So yeah, there are still, of course, there are still some deprecation warnings when it comes to when running unit tests in admin. But yeah, we are getting rid of those, so you won't see is instance or set methods anymore in our unit tests. There are also ESLint rules to preventing from using these deprecated features. So of course, this was not only the initiative by the Vue3 migration work group, but it was also the initiative spread across the whole admin committee. But yeah, actually it helped us a lot because yeah, this was also a blocker for us. So by far we've upgraded more than 500 unit tests. So yeah, there is still some work to be done, but well, we're pushing forward. So that's good to hear that something is moving there. Of course, we have some other libraries to upgrade, like VueRouter and Vuex, but these will be upgraded together with Vue because the API for routes definition or the Vuex store definition is is basically the same. There are some differences within the initiation of those libraries, but you know, this is the basically configuration change which can be updated together with the version upgrade. And additionally, we have some other UI libraries like VueGoodTable, Vue2Google Maps that have their Vue3 counterparts. So that works with Vue3. But yeah, we cannot use them. We cannot use them right now because they are not compatible with Vue3. So we need the migration strategy for this as well. A similar case as with the element UI. So this is it when it comes to the dependency issues. Of course, there are many. There are more. I just highlighted a few of them to show that that there are some issues with the libraries as well. And right now, let's go to the breaking changes. Vue 3 has been the Vue 3 has been the internals has been rewritten and some features has been removed, some features has been deprecated. And the first one is filters. The filters has been removed in Vue 3. They are no longer there. To quickly explain what filters are, basically filters are transformation functions that are used in the templates to transform the data from one format to another. For instance, we have this price here, and we can format them to look like nice currency. And yeah, so basically these are filters. In Vue 3, filters has been removed, and the suggestion is to use methods or computed properties instead. Because we had quite a few filters in our admin repository, there were around 250 occurrences. We decided to go with the plugins, filters plugin, create a plugin that combined all the functions, the filter functions. And we are simply using those methods from the filters plugin, passing the value and the arguments if needed. We enabled ESLint rules to prevent adding new occurrences, and there are no more deprecated filter syntax in admin repository. So yeah, this effort has been completed and done, and actually this has been also done in the custom rep as far as I remember. So yeah, slots. Let's talk a bit about slots. So the slots are a way of telling you how to distribute the content of the components. So we can simply tell. We can simply use slots to tell Vue, okay, let's put it in the title. This should be a dialog body, and these two buttons should be placed in the footer. So this is a way of distributing the content in the component. And actually, before in Vue 2, we defined slots using the slot and slot scope property. But this syntax has been deprecated from version 2.6 and introduced, and in version 2.6 introduced this new syntax using the vslot directive. So those two attributes has been combined into one directive, and yeah, that's the way to use slots now. Of course, there is a shorthand here that you can replace the vslot with hash symbol, and it will mean the same. This is actually still in progress. We've enabled the ESLint rule to prevent from adding new occurrences of the slots of the deprecated slot syntax. The advantage of this approach is that the ESLint is able to auto-fix some of the slots, but not all of them. Some manual work is required or some advanced regex, especially when it comes to the elements, when it comes to the situation when slot attribute is present on a div element or span element, basically any DOM element. ESLint is not able to auto-fix this. So yeah, basically there is still some work to be done here. We have around 460 occurrences of this syntax, but yeah, we are doing our best to minimize this and replace it with the vslot directive in the short future. Of course, there are still some other breaking changes that we are focusing on. We had this in it because Vue 3 changes changes a bit way how we interact with events or with the components. So the native modifier has been removed in Vue 3. There is no longer a native modifier. We initially had 390 occurrences of it. Right now, we decreased it to 56. So basically, this, yeah, it's still not done, but yeah, we are getting there. And yeah, a bit connected to the native event modifier being removed, Vue 3 introduced a new way of that you can declare what event component emits to the parent. So, and you can use emits property for this. So this is encouraged to do it before the migration because, well, if you don't do it, well, it will most likely work, but it can have some side effects when emitting events. So yeah, not going into details right now, but yeah, this is encouraged to do this. So we started doing this. We have 63 emits defined, but we have over 1,000 components there in admin. Not all of them will require this, but yeah, we need to check if they're emitting any events, and if they are, we need to define them. And yeah, we are still some other initiatives that are not yet started, but yeah, we'll be talking about them soon, and we'll be planning them, what to do with, for instance, the sync modifier removal and the new V model, or refactoring functional components, because there will be there won't be any more functional components in Vue 3. So yeah. To sum up, yeah, because I'm quickly heading towards the end. To sum up, we have some blockers. There is not that we have to deal with some problems, but still we are pushing forward. Of course, these are not all the initiatives that we've done. There is much more, but you know, I just wanted to highlight the most important and the most. I just wanted to highlight the initiatives that we learned lots from those. So yeah, this is yeah. So that's it when it comes to this. And yeah, we're not giving up. We're pushing forward, and we think that we'll be ready, maybe not soon, but in a foreseeable future, to bring Vue 3 closer to our repositories. If you're wondering, how can you help us? Well, you can join us, join the effort, join the work group. This is our Slack channel. We meet every 2 weeks on Thursdays. Actually, today is the meeting day. So yeah, if you're interested, you can jump on, drop the message, and yeah, we'll send you an invite. You don't, of course, you don't have to join us if you would like to, help in migrating, help bringing us closer to our goal. You can go through the official Vue3 migration guide on this page. You can read what features are deprecated, what features will be removed, what will change, just, so you will know. And yeah, when you see something that some quick win, you can follow the Boy Scout rule, just, replace the slot. When you see the old slot style syntax, replace it with new one. If it will be like a one-liner, so yeah, feel free to do it. Or if you can also review your team's code, check if there are any deprecated syntax there, or some features that will be removed, and you can drop the ticket in your backlog and do it as a tech debt or something. Like any help is appreciated, and we are looking for, and yeah, we yeah. Sorry about that. And yeah, that's it, what I have prepared for you today. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it, this small new update. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Lukasz. Very interesting. In fact, migrating from Vue to Vue3 in something as massive as admin is super challenging. And you more or less explained it, but I had a doubt on how the details of this is going to happen. One of the biggest challenges that I remember facing when we started this was removing element UI and replacing it. You said that there's this admin UI initiative, right? And you more or less spoke about how that's going to be done. But if you could give some extra details on how to go from element UI to no element UI and the intermediate steps.
Yeah, so the idea was like let's assume that the admin UI initiative will kick in. We'll have like some admin related UI components. So yeah, previously we had in our admin like lots of the element UI components spread across every page, every component, and so on. So yeah, we replaced those with the G components, and this is actually this will be helpful because when we, for instance, will have some admin UI component, we can just without replacing this component, for instance, let's say button. So instead of like replacing L button in many places in the code, we can just simply change the implementation of G button and drop there the admin UI component instead of the element UI component there. So we could like gradually replace the element UI components from our repository and then just remove this dependency at all. And this would unblock us for sure. But this is, well, I don't want to say that this is like a wishful thinking, but I hope that someday we will find something that will help us to do it, because, well, as I mentioned before, this is kind of tough, to say anything more right now, because as I mentioned, we realize that this is a huge blocker, and we are trying to find like any other way. We are even I even once suggested to, I know that this is crazy, but a crazy idea, but it was a desperate, I was desperate thinking, that I even suggested some time ago that, yeah, if we can try this Vue migration build, try to run Vue2 with Vue migration build. If it won't work, we can fork our element UI and, remove the change the features that are blocking us from running this there, and this is what I thought. But yeah, this is like last resort, let's say.
Well, yeah, element UI has proven to be challenging to migrate, but also to test. Like we have so many problems doing unit tests with element UI. But well, if we get rid of it anytime soon, that would be great news. So there's already one question in the Q&A if you want to take a look at it.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking a look. Yes. So yeah, should I click answer live, right? Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And if you can read out loud the question for the audience.
Yeah. So okay, Fotis asked for the deprecation that don't have a clear migration path, like removal of slotted scopes, native modifier, etc. How risky do you think the modifications are? Could someone be done differently from the framework perspective in order to make our life easier? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, there are some features that do not have clear migration path. For now, we can minimize the risk by actually, yeah, we can minimize risk. For instance, when it comes to the native modifier and emits, we can minimize, this is like an example, we can try to minimize the risk as much as possible. For instance, the native modifier, yeah, it changes a bit, with the native modifier, the event is bound to the roots, to the component's root node. And yeah, if we don't define in view3 emit, this will happen. It will happen the same. The same thing will happen with view3 in view3, but without the native modifier. So we can minimize the risk, for instance, to add, like, let's say, forward compatible changes, like defining emits in currently right now, defining some stuff right now that won't have effect right now, but will be effective then after the migration. But when it comes to the risk of the modifications, well, there is always some risk. That's why we are migrating those that stuff step by step, trying to see how well, if we're breaking something or not. So yeah, this is the currently this is the strategy, to do it step by step, not to like do it at once, modify 1,000 files and commit and hope for the best. We are just grabbing one module, refactoring it, and checking if it's done. If there is no clear migration, of course, if there is no clear strategy, for instance, there is no way to replace it right now, we can communicate with the owners and tell them, hey, this is something that might not work later on. We have to think about it. This basically, case by case. We need to figure the strategies case by case, because this is hard to answer, like to give a generic answer, because there are still many unknowns there. Yeah, so sorry for a bit long answer, but yeah, I just wanted to cover.
Fair enough. It was a complicated question, so fair enough. Yeah. We have one more question, but we have run out of time. So see if you can take a look and you think it's an easy question. Otherwise, we can take it to the Slack channel that we have for the questions.
Yeah, I believe I can take it because it will be short.
Okay.
Yeah, so what about using Element Plus as an intermediate step between Element UI and Glovo UI? Well, yeah, so with the Element Plus, there is no, yeah, we considered using this, but there is no easy migration from Element UI that we are currently using to the Element Plus, because first of all, as I mentioned before, Element Plus will not work in Vue 2. Even if we manage to run the Vue 2, sorry, even if we manage to run the current admin repo on this migration build that is, as I mentioned, Vue 3 with the deprecated features, the migration from Element UI to Element Plus won't be that easy, because there are some breaking changes between Element UI, so the Vue 2 version, and Element Plus. So this is also tricky. Yeah, this would also be tricky, because we thought about this, but yeah, we need to. Yeah, so this is basically it, and we're not sure how to handle this yet, but this is somehow this is something that we are trying to figure out right now. Yeah.
Cool. So with that, thank you very much, Lukasz, for taking the time to prepare this nice presentation. It was very informative, and thank you everyone for attending, and we will see you all